So Cetus, the sea monster, so interesting when we get interrupted right at the peak moment of the story. Cetus, the sea monster, was in the employment of King Neptune, the god of the sea. And one day, a beautiful princess somewhere in Africa claimed that she was more beautiful than all of King Neptune's sea nymphs, the beautiful maidens that lived in the sea. King Neptune was furious to hear this, and he commanded that in order to save their village, that they had to take the princess, as the princess of the village, and chain her to a rock and allow her to be fed to Cetus the sea monster. And so the princess, of course, is terrified, scared, and yet she wants to do the right thing and help her people, which again relates to some of the other themes of Pisces, which relates to martyrdom or sacrifice. And so one of the challenges with so much energy in Pisces is we have to make sure we're not sacrificing ourselves too much. Maybe it's okay to do a little bit of sacrifice here and there to help others, to lift others up. But here in this situation, the princess was sacrificing herself for the lives of all of the people. It's very interesting as we approach Easter, with also the similar story of Jesus sacrificing himself on the cross. Jesus is actually a very powerful example of Piscean energy, as Pisces energy relates so much to sacrifice, martyrdom, and a connection to God and the Spirit. In fact, the symbol for Jesus is the fish, which is also the symbol for Pisces, the two fishes. And so Pisces energy, really, Jesus could be their poster child of what Piscean energy is all about. And also about rebirth, right? And rebirth through death, being born again. That is also a very spiritual, very Piscean concept. So getting back to the story, we have this princess, this beautiful princess, who has agreed to martyr herself for the good of her people. And so they go and they take her and they chain her to a rock, and she's naked and she's vulnerable to the winds. And just take a minute and imagine what that must have been like for her, being there chained up against the rock, probably crying, probably thinking that this was it, this was the end. She's about to face something horrible, and she's probably crying and in tears. And I just want to ask you, are you going through a similar thing right now? Are you feeling like this is the end? Are you feeling like you've hit rock bottom? Because that's what Cetus asks us to face and confront. It asks us to face our fears. It asks us to face the sadness within us. It asks us to face that which is in the way of our biggest dream. Okay, so here she is. She's chained against the rock. She's crying. She's sad. She's facing every fear she can imagine. And here comes the monster, and she's thinking, this is it. It's over. Crying, sad, disheartened, miserable. And then up out of nowhere, out of the clear blue sky, emerges Pegasus, which is the constellation on the other side of Cetus Pisces, Pegasus. And the Pegasus is bearing the hero who comes and rescues her. And he uses the head of Medusa to turn Cetus to stone. He rescues the princess, carries her to freedom, and wouldn't you know, aboard Pegasus, the princess and the hero fall in love, and he asks her to be his queen and to travel with him to Crete to be the queen of her own country. This story is miraculous. This story is the story of us facing our deepest fear, our deepest obstacle, our deepest lack of hope, lack of faith. This is it. This is the end. And lo and behold, out of her just surrender and complete letting go, the miraculous miracle of her redemption comes flying in. And not only is she saved and rescued and she gets her life back, she gets to live, but she gets taken to another land where she gets raised in station and made a queen, from a princess to a queen. And so this story asks us, are we dealing with the fear that we're at the end of something? Are we thinking this is it, there's no more hope? And it asks us to maybe have a little bit more faith that perhaps this moment of things looking the worst they could get is actually the springboard, the stepping stone, the step up to something even bigger, to something even better, something you can't even imagine right now. Do you think she could imagine when she was chained against the rock, naked, cold, blubbering, thinking she'd lost it all? Do you think she could have possibly imagined being raised upon high as a queen, falling in love, being rescued, and the miracle of redemption? So I want to ask you now, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, as the sun begins to shine through the clouds, can we imagine, can we pray, can we invite and allow the possibility, the opportunity that what we're going through is really leading us to something better, that the fear, the sadness, the grief, those difficult, deep, dark shadows we're facing are actually leading us to hope, to triumph, and to redemption. It is always darkest before the dawn, and as we approach Good Friday, the day that Jesus supposedly died on the cross, perhaps collectively we are all going through our own cross moment with all this Piscean energy, with Chiron so close to the sun, and yet we are moving past it, and we are being moved towards rebirth and redemption. And so I want to invite you to pray with me for a moment, to envision, to hold space for our own redemption, our own triumph, our own light entering through the clouds, that we have the power and the ability through our surrender to what is, through our being. So how did she get to the other side? Was it through fighting? Was it through resisting? It was through her total, full surrender to what was. She allowed it to happen. She gave herself up to the crucible of the challenge. And so how do we get through what we're going through? One route, we must go through it. One route is to surrender to what is, to just be with it fully and completely, to allow it, to receive it, to embrace it. And know that as you allow and embrace and receive what is, you are transforming every single tissue and cell and vibration to begin to open up to the divine elixir of hope, which is your redemption, which is your rebirth, which is the opportunity of divine intervention. So I want to invite you all to focus on that, to envision for that, to allow that in, and know that the universe, God, creator, source, your higher self is always, always, always acting in your highest and best good. So can we allow ourselves through this process of rebirth to allow ourselves to surrender to what is, and allow ourselves to be truly and fully born again into the light, into true spirit, which is eternal, infinite, and beyond words. I send you all so much love and light and comfort along your journey. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I also do energy healing to work at healing what is coming up in these moments of intensity. And I send you immense love and light, and I look forward to working with you and seeing you soon. Biggest love. Look at that light coming through. Aloha.